Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the FSU Weather Show. Today is Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013. I'm student meteorologist Jason Ducker.
And I'm student meteorologist Raquel Nakora.
And it's been the day after Labor Day, just getting back into the work week now. Nice sunshine throughout the morning. Showers may be rolling on through, though, later tonight.
Yes, we're expecting some more showers in the evening. However, we're not going to be expecting too much rain later this week.
Some cooler areas around the south, though, have been having some, I would say, extreme temperatures for coolness lately. A couple cities you have in mind, highs only into the 60s.
Yes, Atlanta is actually seeing 2 days of consecutive cool temperatures, 68 and 66 degrees back to back on the 16th and 17th of this month.
That certainly is quite a cool time, especially into September. We're still experiencing these transitioning into fall from summer, so not expecting this, but a lot of coolness though lately into the south. Maybe we'll get a touch of that here and there coming on as the fall progresses on through. However, though, we're going to take it out to the wall now of John.
It may be seeming a little bit more like fall across most of the northeast. There's a giant front that's pushed through the northeast, but out towards the west, the monsoon is in full-fledged effect out there, bringing rain to Phoenix, Salt Lake City, and all the way up into Idaho. And that's going to continue as this area of low pressure spins away across the southwest. For us here in the east, we're looking quite a bit better. Still summertime pattern here from New Orleans over towards the east and beyond. We're looking quite nice. Still in the 90s for most of the southeast and across the entire eastern state of Florida. And we're going to go ahead and take it back out to the desk here now with a closer look at some interesting weather.
Hey, thanks, John. We just saw a lot of the southeast beginning to get rainfall coming on through and shifting up into Washington, specifically Seattle. We're expecting some rain there this week.
Yes, heavy flooding may be expected this weekend for the Seattle area, Northwest area. So watch out for those heavy rains and winds this weekend. Watch out for those flash flood warnings. They may just appear out of nowhere, and that is a serious threat that people don't really take too much into concern or consideration, rather.
Yeah, there's certainly a few river areas and low-lying areas, especially into Nevada and Idaho, where those flash flood watches are into effect. And the big interesting part about this new weather system coming in for the next day or two, expecting some severe weather with it.
Yes, some severe hail, some severe lightning storms, thunderstorms, just going to be coming in off the coast of the Pacific Ocean. So it's going to be moving its way into the northwest, into the Washington area, Idaho area, and let's see, Montana.
Yes, Idaho, Nevada, Washington, right around the extreme northwestern areas, and they're expecting SPC has a slight chance for severe weather. So specifically, hail and winds is the main factor, with, of course, a lot of heavy rain going to be a big factor, especially for the northwest.
Yeah, so let's see other areas that are seeing some rain chances. Daphne, how's our area looking with rain?
Thanks, Raquel and Jason. And you know, we may not have that heavy rainfall, but we do have rain in the forecast tonight. Tonight until after sunset is going to be your greatest chance for rain. You can already see, this is our satellite local radar here showing you we have the rain. Popcorn showers moving on through. It's going to continue. And then we'll get to that, how long it's going to continue in just a minute here. Now, our almanac for the day, by the number, 89 degrees, a couple degrees below average here, and our low, you woke up to 72 degrees. So 89 degrees, almost at the 90-degree mark, feeling really, really warm. That's because we have that humidity here. Check that out, 63%. So still feeling a lot of moisture, dew point 71. Thunder, maybe possible chance tonight. As for temperature, 85 degrees. So not the best night for a date night, Tuesday night here. Current temperatures by the number here, 83 degrees in Tallahassee. A little bit warmer for you along the coast in St. Mark's at 88 degrees and moving cooler and cooler. As you can see, the cold front is really to our northwest, and that cold front is going to be pushing on through and bringing us some more rain. So rain is still in the forecast, continuing maybe even into the weekend time. And you can see why it's feeling a little bit warmer, 65% humidity, and a little bit more along the coast. St. Mark's at 67%, Carabel at 83% for you. So feeling really muggy and sticky, and this pattern, I'm sorry, it's going to keep continuing the next few days here. Satellite and radar showing us no downpours in the forecast, only just showers moving on through tonight, and then tomorrow you're going to have that rain back in the forecast. And we'll put this into play here. You can see this cold front to our north. That's going to be pushing down and you have that wind coming from the Gulf, which is fueling that moisture for our neck of the woods. So those clouds, even though it is almost into the 90s, we're feeling really, really hot, but it's actually a little bit warmer or cooler than average for this time of year. Now we'll put our futurecast into play here, just showing popcorn showers move through the area. It's going to be moving on through, and like I mentioned, no downpours in the forecast tonight. Now we'll go on for tonight's forecast again. 73 degrees is what we're expecting, partly cloudy, mild, and muggy. And like I mentioned earlier, the winds are coming from the south, so that's what's giving us those clouds and moisture that's lingering on. Tomorrow's forecast, we're talking 91 degrees, so we're kind of getting warmer tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds, and we do have that rain in the forecast. So grab the umbrella, keep it on hand if you are outdoors tomorrow. 7-day forecast, we'll pop that out for you here. We're talking rain in the forecast midweek, even in the weekend time, and temperatures, we are still feeling hot, folks. We are in the lower 90s. Seems like it's going to stick around for a while. Back to you, Troy with the Southeast.
Alrighty, thank you, Daphne. And of course, that our sort of weather will unfortunately be sticking around for a while, but I'll explain that later in the forecast. But in the meantime, let's take a look at your current temperatures. You can see uniformly across most of the Southeast, we are sitting in the lower to middle 80s, and in some cases around the northwest part of the sections of the Southeast, particularly around Tupelo, Mississippi, 90 degrees. And look at that, triple-digit heat in Shreveport, Louisiana, 103. So very hot and humid conditions going on there right now. In fact, across most of the Southeast. And speaking of that, we'll take a look at your dew point. And remember, dew point is a good indicator of how much moisture there is in the atmosphere. As you can see, very, very humid across pretty much most of the Southeast. Look at that. Dew points in the 70s across the Sunshine State. And when dew points get in the 70s, that means it's sitting at very oppressive humidity levels. So you can see, you know, for those of you going outside, and especially in the Tallahassee region, it must have felt very awful, just like walking in that awful heat and oppressive humidity. Just not very comfortable, folks. But in the meantime, speaking of that dew point, we'll take a look at your water vapor imaging. You can see that we do have a lot of moisture, especially in the Gulf of Mexico, as indicated by these green colors. And green colors and the way water vapor imaging means that we have a lot of moisture to work with, and we also have a lot of greens situated along the Gulf Coast region, and that is causing for showers. And speaking of showers, as we look ahead at your Southeast satellite and radar, you can see a lot of popcorn showers popping up across much of the Southeast. So for those of you traveling along the I-10 corridor between Tallahassee and New Orleans, just make sure that you stay safe with traveling interstate. And if you have any outdoor activities, just to keep in mind of the possibility of showers as well. But in the meantime, as we look ahead towards your futurecast, you can see that things are not going to be changing much across the Southeast for pretty much the next few days as we advance towards Tuesday night. And Wednesday morning, you can see high pressure situated off the coast of the East Coast, and that clockwise flow is drawn in that southerly air from the Gulf of Mexico, and that southerly air is bringing in warm and humid weather. So as we extend out towards Wednesday, you can see that the cold front really taking its sweet time pushing across the area. So as I said, for the most part, it looks like we're going to be stuck in this unsettledness, particularly the threat for showers and rain for some time to come. Now, as you can see, as I said, more of the same throughout the next couple of days. So anyways, as we look ahead towards your tonight's forecast, you can see mild temperatures for overnight lows in 70s across the Sunshine State, 73 degrees in Tallahassee, a little bit cooler off towards the northwest, 67 degrees in Tupelo. So again, you know, obviously not as hot as we've been seeing in the past couple of days, especially during the daytime, but still very mild nevertheless. And finally, as we go ahead towards tomorrow's forecast, again, more hot, humidity on the rise in 90s across much of the Southeast. But in the meantime, we're going to throw it back out to the desk with Jason and Raquel. And guys, you know, are you just a fan of this heat and humidity like I am?
Oh, maybe not too much of a fan. How about you, Jason?
Not too much either, but however, we have a lot of hot weather specifically to talk about. Zooming out into the west, we have the fifth largest wildfire in history. Raquel, tell me more.
Yes, while many may be taking a break during this Labor Day weekend, firefighters have been working hard in northern part of California, specifically near the Yosemite National Forest, where there has been the fifth largest known fire, a wildfire, and has burned over 235 acres of land. It is also known as the Rim Fire.
Yes, 235,000 acres of land. That's just to the west of Yosemite Valley. However, though, The 5 Hour has done a very good job of containing the fire, like you said, now 75% contained. However, it's been going on since August 17th, not projected until get off until almost September 20th.
Yes. So hopefully that better weather will just head that way and just make the fire a little bit more containable. What do you think, Pete?
All right, well, we'll start off with the watches and warnings and that Great Rim Fire out in California. Definitely good news for them as, well, that fire conditions are moving away and that moisture from the monsoonal flow is beginning to take shape. Actually have some flash flood warnings and watches here. You see the monsoonal flow pushing up from the southeast, causing some canyon flooding, especially there in central Nevada, central Idaho, something to be concerned about. And back home here in Tallahassee, we've had our own issues with flooding. Rainfall this summer, of course, and that's in this area right here, right along the Osceola River, Choctawhatchee River, also still under flood warnings and advisories locally here. Currently, around the region, we're seeing that heat surge up the southeastern portion into Texas, 98 this hour in Dallas, 100 degrees in San Antonio. The Lone Star State is definitely leading in the heat category today. But where is it comfortable? In the Northeast, actually. Well, how about 75 in Detroit? 86 in Washington, D.C., 76 in Boston this hour. Definitely more comfortable conditions in the Northeast. Dew point's a measure of the moisture content in the air, and you definitely see deep layer moisture here along the southeast from 73 in New Orleans, 67 in Atlanta, and that sticky right ahead of that frontal boundary is what we're experiencing here. Now let's go around the country, see what we have going on. Right here in the southeast, you see right along this frontal boundary, showers and thunderstorms beginning to fire. Locally in Tallahassee, we've had that happen as well. Evening commute's going to be a little on the wet side as those storms move through from the west to the east. Over here in the west, you see those deep layer monsoonal moisture moving up through Boise, Idaho, looking at a shower and thunderstorms. Reno, Nevada, also getting in on the action. Definitely a relief for that. And another area we have to watch here is in central South Dakota. This little pulse of energy moving through, firing off a few showers and thunderstorms as well. Now, northeast, all of this is behind this low pressure center, which is up in Canada, wrapping in the cooler temperatures. So right around the backside of this low, winds from the northwest, bringing in seasonably cool conditions for the northeast. Now, for tonight's forecast, we're expecting 75 overnight in Dallas, 76 in New Orleans, and also 73 overnight for us in Tallahassee. But the heat returns full blast tomorrow across the nation. Where are those triple digits hanging out? Right here in Dallas, Lone Star State, 100 degrees, San Antonio at 98. But back in Tallahassee, looks like another summer pattern, 91 degrees. Let's send it over to Jack, my summer compadre, as he sends us right around the Capital District.
All right, well, thanks, Pete. We're going to take a look at the almanac today. Reached a high of 89 degrees at that early morning low of 72 degrees. So we're right on par where we should be, but we take a step out to the regional airports, 83 degrees, but we have some thunderstorms starting to roll through. So if you are in the area, make sure you have that umbrella handy if you are stepping outside. Feeling pretty muggy with that dew point sitting at 70 degrees. So when you step outside, you're feeling pretty oppressive and sticky. Current radar showing a lot of those storms starting to drift into the Tallahassee region, as also we make our way down to Franklin County along Alligator Point. There's some storms starting to fire up just to the west of it into Gulf County, making its way into Carabel, as well as Wilma and Liberty County. So some heavy thunderstorms all across the Big Bend area. Current temperatures all across the board, 83 degrees for us here in Tallahassee, 75 degrees in Quincy, 84 degrees in Bainbridge. If we make our way towards the eastern viewing area, 83 degrees in Monticello, 86 degrees in Perry, and a warm 92 degrees up in Valdosta. You add that with the dew point, which is the measure of the moisture in the air, 70 degrees right now in Tallahassee, 70 degrees as well in Quincy, and 77 degrees in Bainbridge. And that's when you start feeling very sticky and hot. Adds to the current heat index, so you feel very warm out there. Now, when we take a look into our futurecast, what we got going on for the next few days, we have a cold front starting to slowly sag down. It's going to bring a lot of this southwestern moisture into our area. Adding to our rain chances, we'll have about 30–40% chance of rain for the next few days. We have that high pressure system still dominating, but we'll have those muggy conditions with thunderstorms into Wednesday, and we can see the same pattern as we make our way into Thursday night. Now, as we turn into tonight's forecast, calling for a low of 73 degrees with a light chance of rain. Once the sun sets, we'll see that rain chances start going away, but we can't rule out that pop-up shower, so keep that umbrella handy if you are stepping outside. Partly cloudy, but we will still stay pretty muggy throughout the night. Winds will be out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow's forecast, another hot one today, or for tomorrow, 91 degrees for our high. Mix of sun and clouds out there. We'll have those afternoon thunderstorms start rolling into the area. So pack that umbrella if you are stepping outside for your early morning commute to work. Day planner ahead though, 75 degrees for us in the morning as you head out to work. Around lunchtime, we'll be seen at 86 degrees. We'll have those pop-up showers in the area. And then once we make it into the afternoon hours, 90 degrees, we'll have some scattered downpours in the area. So quite a normal Florida southern pattern for us. 7-day forecast showing us those early rain chances are going to make their way into Thursday with a 40% chance of rain. But once we start our weekend, we see those rain chances start dropping off into Sunday with a high of 90 degrees with those lows still lingering around the low 70s. So a nice weekend ahead. But once we start our work week, we'll see those summer patterns ahead. But we're going to switch on over to Troy and Jonathan as they talk about the ozone lab that FSU conducted this summer.
Yeah, and it's actually ongoing. And this is really from the really cool file, the science file there. They are doing balloon launches here at the FSU Weather building here, and we're looking at balloon launches once a day to measure things like temperature, dew point, and even ozone.
In particular, the ozone part of the factors. Basically, what they're trying to do is that measuring the ozolators, there's certain gases that they're trying to determine to help how it affects the convections throughout the atmosphere.
Yeah, and you can see, this is a couple of days ago when they were lifting off one of the balloons, you can see the balloon there. It's quite large and quite heavy, and if we get windy conditions here, it's actually quite hard to handle as well. And they launch those at 1 o'clock here every day on the FSU meteorology building, and there it goes right up, and these go up all the way up to about 2 miles if they don't pop sooner than that.
And it's a really great theme that they're doing just to help, find out, because there's still, obviously there's only so much we know about what goes in the atmosphere. Yeah. So this is a really great thing that FSU is doing, to help further advance our meteorological studies.
In partnership with NASA, you can actually follow this project on Twitter at handle FSU Ozone Lab, all one word, and it's quite interesting. They post every day on where those balloons are going.
Mm-hmm. And of course, if you're out near the lab building and you want to check it out, feel free to check it out just to see how they're doing with it and what it's like to launch the balloons, and it'll be a really great experience to actually witness it, to see.
And the National Weather Service also launches a balloon every evening as well.
Mm-hmm. Which I still need to go to, by the way, so just to see what it's like.
So we're going to go ahead and send it back to the wall with Brooke.
Hey, so we're still getting some rain over here in Tallahassee. You can see a lot of that moisture just building up and coming in from the Gulf. A lot of that also has to do with that sea breeze, which really affects us during the later hours of the afternoon into the earlier evening. We can see that rain start to die down just a little bit, but these patterns will continue on through the rest of the week. South Florida, Miami are getting a lot of rain too. You can see by the satellite they're just getting a lot of those greens and also reds and yellows, showing that there's a lot of stronger rain over down south. The Keys are getting a lot of rain this weekend too, so if you went out there for Labor Day, you got lucky because that rain just came on through right now. But most of our areas, things are looking kind of sunny. You can see this little pattern right there. Over in Tampa, Orlando, you have some sunshine, 89 degrees. It's still fairly hot, but it's still also the later afternoon. Cool down over here in Pensacola, 76 degrees. That's because of that rain. It's really going to drop those temperatures. 83 degrees here in Tallahassee with a lot of that cloud coverage as well. And again, we're going to see those temperatures begin to cool down as we move into the evening because of that. So as for our watches and warnings, we have some fun water. We have watches that are going to show that there are chances that we can see some flooding in our area if we do get a lot of rain. And you can see by this water vapor showing you that there is a lot of areas that are seeing more moisture than other places, but we have this big batch of cold of warm air on over us, and they're not really seeing a lot of rain over there up north, but down south we are getting a lot of that, so there is still moisture in our area. You're going to be feeling that if you step outside. It's really humid and muggy out there. But for the next couple of days, we do have another continuation of this pattern. You can see that we have rain moving into way into Tallahassee area, also down south Fort Myers. You guys are going to see much heavier rain than here in Tallahassee, but we can expect there's more showers to make its way on through for our area, so you just want to be prepared and also bring your umbrella if you have any outdoor plans. Luckily, there's no game this weekend here in Tallahassee, so it's not like we're going to get rained on if we step out into the stadium. But as if you're going out to the beach, you want to go out really, really early in the mornings. You can miss those chances of rain because we can see some of those afternoon showers making its way on through, and that's for boating as well. It's going to look like it's a nice light sea out there with 1 to 2 feet of those waves, and again, earlier showers are possible after that break of sunshine. But for tonight, temperatures dropping down 73 degrees after that rain, and for tomorrow, temperatures are going to start heating back on up. How do you feel about
Those temperatures, Jason?
Not too bad for the most part. This is more the summer-like into transition to fall for the, of course, Tallahassee region. But however, the tropics, though, is now beginning to become a little more active. We have a couple systems that we are beginning to now watch. The next name maybe popping up our list soon, Gabrielle. That'll be the next one on our list. Of course, we've been all the way A through Z. A through F, Andrea through Fernand, and then we'll be transitioning maybe into the next one the next few days. We have a couple systems, like I said, we're watching. Now, where these systems are present is where they're expected to be to September. So we have one right into the Antilles, and even just the north there. We expect maybe a trend into Florida or the southeast, or even a trend out into the Atlantic, of course, depending on where the high is associated, and somewhere into the Caribbean. Going to be eventually shifting into Gulf of Mexico, maybe coming up through the Panhandle of Florida, or even shifting on out into Mexico. So these are the trends that we see going into September, where these tropical storms or hurricanes could be making their way. Now, the HANS satellite just shows some imagery of pop-up showers throughout the Atlantic. This is the main area we're focusing on, just to the east of the Greater and Lesser Antilles, and another couple areas, one into the Yucatan Peninsula. That's where, and one all the way out into Africa. Now we'll go to that one briefly. Near a 0% chance the next few days of formation. Enhanced satellite not currently present. The satellite's not there. But however, next 5 days, 20% chance of development. Westerly movement at 10 miles an hour. Way out though, so we're not exactly concerned about that just yet. Now this is the one we're concerned about. Now beginning to make its way into the Antilles, Caribbean, we're seeing some more organization begin to come around it. Showers are beginning to flare up more, and there's some rotation now beginning to see around these clouds. It's a good indication of development taking place. Now the National Hurricane Center has 20% chance in the next 48 hours for development, but 50% chance for the next 5 days. And this is the trend northwesterly, making its track, potentially could hit Puerto Rico, and that will be helping, at least for the southeast, if it would inhibit some land to help stop the development. But as it makes its way through Puerto Rico, models have it indicating eventually sliding into the Bahamas area, and this is where it gets tricky. So certainly if you're in South Florida or even the western portions of Florida, you want to be keeping an eye on this system going into the next few days. Now, this is the one Yucatan Peninsula. A lot of convection showers, especially to the south. We have some deep showers just barely moving its way on through the Yucatan Peninsula. It's encountering some land, so in these next 48 hours, we don't expect much to develop. 20% chance of development in the next 48 hours. Next 5 days, 30% chance, a slight better chance of development as it makes its way into the Gulf of Mexico with a trend of 15 miles an hour northwesterly. So indications, of course, will be for the Gulf of Mexico and into the southern portions of Texas is where we could be maybe seeing some trouble. So certainly these Texas and Florida need to be watching out in the next 5 days with some potential development into the tropics. However, though, we're going to take it back to second last desk now, with Troy and John.
Alrighty, thank you, Jason. And speaking of the 2013 Atlantic hurricane season, even though we've had, as Jason showed, 6 named storms, we have yet to have our first hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane
what's
season.
even more odd for this time of year, yesterday was Labor Day, which happens, a holiday that happens right at the peak of hurricane season. We didn't have any storms out there in the Atlantic.
Very, very odd. And in the meantime, the latest hurricane on record to form in any hurricane season was Hurricane Gustav, not the one in 2008, but the one 6 years before that, in 2002. And there is a possibility that we might even surpass that record, believe it or not.
And actually, the main reason we haven't seen any activity is because of a lot of dry air that's come off the Sahara and off the continent of Africa.
Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, we still got the rest of the month to go. So, of course, still the peak of the season. Anything can happen, but in the meantime, let's take things at home with your last local with Alex Cordero.
Alrighty, thanks, Troy. And as you can see, our high today reached 89 degrees, almost around our average at 90 degrees, possibly because of the immense cloud cover we've had. The low also right around the record, so mainly seasonal for this time of day, with the rain showers starting to roll in at this time. I'm sure you've all heard the thunder. Right now, that is the current condition with 83 degrees. The dew point sitting at a relatively high 70 degrees, humidity around 65% with winds coming out toward the southeast at 8 miles an hour. Current temperatures right now 83 degrees in Tallahassee, a little cooler as you go up towards the northwest, 75 degrees in Quincy, 76 in Mariana, 87 degrees in Wilma as I go off towards the east, 86 degrees out in Perry. So a mainly warm day today and very muggy as well, 70 degrees is the dew point in Tallahassee, 77 in Bainbridge and Thomasville. So the rainfall definitely impacting them and making it more humid than it even is over here. Very uncomfortable conditions persisting. The futurecast is showing all that muggy conditions to continue as we have this slow-moving cold front begin to approach our area. And as it does so, that rain chance is going to increase or stay around the same, I should say, for the next couple of days. And as it does so, clouds are going to persist, rain's going to persist. Always bring your umbrella. That's what we say in Florida anyways, as those muggy conditions begin to deteriorate after the end of the week. But until then, we're going to have to deal with a few muggy conditions for the rest of the week. Excuse me. Now, onto our beach forecast. You can see we're going to have a little rough ocean at 5 to 10 knots, wind surf at 1 to 2 feet. It's going to be warm ocean waters, but very warm indeed with a high UV index at 9. So make sure you bring your sunscreen out there, even though it might also rain later on in the afternoon. Boating also going to be a little rough too. Winds coming out of the south side west at 5 miles an hour. Early showers are possible with the break of sunshine, and a sunset looking a little later at 7:56 p.m. Tonight's forecast calling for 73 degrees. The chance of rain is going to drop dramatically to less than 20% with partly cloudy skies. So still a little muggy though with all that moisture hanging around in the air, and it doesn't look like that's going to change for tomorrow. The day planner is calling for 75 degrees in the morning with those muggy conditions persisting, and as the day progresses, the rain showers begin to increase and possible downpours as well, with highs peaking up into around 90 degrees. And as we look onto our 7-day forecast, you can see that rain chance persists throughout the rest of the week, with highs not looking like they're going to get anywhere away from seasonal temperatures. However, Monday looks like it might be a little cooler with the rain in the forecast. And now let's take it back to the desk with Troy and John.
Yeah, all those rain chances are actually coming from a frontal system that is parked just about right on top of the Northeast right now.
Yes, and that cold front, fortunately for the Northeast, once that cold front passes by, because by the way, the highest chance in that area still hasn't passed on through the region yet, around the New England area, particularly around Boston, they still have the chance for showers and thunderstorms. But once that cold front passes, humidity will drop down, which is something that I enjoy, John. So.
Yeah, and places in upstate New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire could be dropping all the way down into the 30s this week.
Don't you just love that kind of weather, John?
Yeah, unfortunately,
comfortableness.
Unfortunately, we have to wait a couple more weeks here before we get any sort of cool weather.
Yeah, because I was back up in New York all summer, and especially at the latter part of the month, we saw just gorgeous weather, just like low humidity. And now back in here to swing of things, this heat and humidity, which, as we show in the 7-day forecast in just a little bit, will show no signs of letting up in the near future.
Yeah, the cold front that is parked right off the North Carolina coast is draped all the way down into our area, and it's bringing rain chances of 30 to 50% just about for the next 7 days.
And as you see, as I mentioned, each day will feature the chance of showers and thunderstorms in the Tallahassee region. So for those of you going out, just make sure you keep your umbrella handy, because you never know what it could rain, because especially with the daytime heating throughout the day.
Yeah, and for your updated forecast, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and make sure you stay involved with us as well. Send us any pictures that you have of those thunder showers as they pass on through, and make sure you watch us every day here, Monday through Friday at FSU Weather. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Bellis.
And I'm student meteorologist Troy Fields. Have a great night.